Hello and welcome to week 23 study group session. And here are the group learning agreements as usual. Yeah. And then this is the Y Scholars Program's vision and mission. So our vision is to elevate people's growth mindset so we all achieve higher ambition. And our mission is to guide first generation high school students to pursue and obtain a college education. So the purpose of these study groups are to increase our connections with other Y scholars and to improve your studying success skills and to guide you to practice your growth mindset. So to prepare for this session, please open your YSP journal or Google Doc or notebook to take notes for your assignments because I'll be asking a lot of questions that you'll be asked for your assignment. So here's our YSP schedule coming up. And remember that saying like you didn't know or you skipped a session will count as an unverified absence. So this week we have a regular YSP programming, but next week Berkeley High School has a spring break, so there's no YSP programming. So the Teen Center will still be open, and you can sign up for advisory at advisory.yscholars.org. And there's also Cal shadowing happening. Check out the announcements in your Slack. And then the following week after that, April 11th, we have regular YSP programming and we jump right back into week 24's session. All right, so we have been working on our summer's activities playbook. And as of this week, you should be finished with your application and be preparing for activities 1 and 2. And last week, you should have filled out activities 3 and 4. If you haven't, please sign up for advisory at advisory.yscholars.org. The tutors that are usually there are me, Diego, and Justin. So feel free to reach out to us to let you know, so we know what you need help on, right? So again, reminder, please sign up for advisory if you do not meet your deadlines and if you need help with them. We're doing this so you can be consistent with meeting your deadlines that we set and that you can show yourself and show us that you're serious about college preparation. And this shows that you go beyond our YSP requirements, which typically leads you to more opportunities that we offer. Okay, so we're going to do a review of what we learned last week's study group. So last week we learned about how to improve your study skills and why study skills are important. And as a review, study skills enable you to study smarter instead of studying harder. Of course, it is important to study hard, but studying smarter will enable you to be more efficient. So you learn more and you study more in a shorter period of time, right? And study skills are typically not subject specific. So the way you study for one subject is very similar to the way you will study for another subject. Of course, it varies, but typically the same study skills apply. And like, you can develop these skills by practice, right? Because no one was born better at studying than other people. So you get better at it with practice. And remember, studying skills aren't just for students. Adults, when you get into the corporate world, you still have to study because you always constantly have to learn new things, right? So it is important to start developing good study skills now so you don't have to worry about it later. So remember, we talked about these fixed mindset messages last week, and these are the warning signs that you need to improve your studying skills. If you ever said stuff like this to yourself, like, what am I ever going to use this for? I didn't try this time, that's why I did bad. And like, I'm not good at math, she's a terrible teacher, no one else is doing well in this class, etc., etc. So all of these mindset messages, if you have said it to yourself, it's a really good sign to start working on it. And if you need more help on improving your study skills, watch the last week's video. So another warning sign that you need to improve your studying skills beside all those quotes that we listed before are these actions, right? So if it takes you a really long time to complete your assignments or your homework, it's a good sign you do not know your subject well enough. So you need to start upping your studying skills so you can study more effectively, and you can do your homework a lot faster. Another way is you're missing assignments. It's a pretty good sign you need to pick up some organization skills, which is part of studying skills. If your grades are lowering, your GPA is dropping, also a pretty good sign. If you notice that there's a change of attitude, like you're becoming more negative, and you feel like you can't do as well, it's a good sign too. And if you're creating like fixed excuses, like the ones on this slide, also a sign to improve. All right, so why is it important to study studying skills? Remember, it maximizes our homework time. It helps you improve on your test, and it typically ends up with you getting better grades because all of the above that we said at first. So this week, we're going to talk about creating an effective study place. So after learning more about studying skills, it is now time to talk about our studying place. So our session will be successful if we develop awareness of your current study space and learn tips on how to improve your study space so you can focus slightly better. All right, so what does an effective study space do? An effective study space will keep you focused and help you retain information. So an ineffective study space would be you get distracted very easily and you can't really memorize anything, right? So a pretty good example is usually your bed because you tend to nap, right? All right, so this Jamboard journal activity. So if you're watching the video, please write down in your journal, describe your current place for studying. I will talk about mine while you're writing down yours. So right here, I wrote down my study space is a desk where I have all my study materials, skincare, and snacks and drinks. So right now my study space is really unorganized, but I will get to that after I'm done with my deadlines. All right, I hope you have written down a couple bullet points, and now I will move on. All right, so it is important that you create comfort while you're studying, but make sure it's not too comfy. Like I said at first, you might be reading a book or like your assigned reading for your class, and then you're just reading it in your bed, and all of a sudden you fall asleep. So that's why it's important that it's not too comfy and it creates a study mood, right? So if you join Zoom in class 2 and you join it during bed, is most likely you're gonna fall asleep. I am also speaking from personal experience. So remember, it's typically easier for you to study when you're sitting down on a desk, but you can create comfort by having like a cup of tea next to you or some snacks, right? Next, it is try personalizing your study space. So some things you can do is add some decorations like photos or posters. Some people put family photos on their desk because it motivates them or inspires them to do more work. Posters to like your idols, your celebrity, just makes it feel like help you feel more motivated. And colors are also kind of important because adding colors can appeal to senses. So the colors blue, purple, green will tend to bring out feelings of peace and balance. So a choice of color of decorations or your room will also be able to help improve your study space. All right, and now is a discussion. What is something in your study space that inspires you? I will be talking about my younger sister's study space. So when I went back home for spring break, I realized she had a row of succulents and she says it helps her study. It might be that it's cleaning out the air for her or something, but that is something that inspires her to study better or be more focused while studying. And feel free to jot down in your journal what you feel in your study space that inspires you. All right, and now we will move on. So music. Most of us listen to music while we study, right? But it's the kind of music you choose can help improve you're studying, so to speak. So what type of music do you listen to while you study? I typically, depending on the subject, I listen to K-pop or Chinese music. But if it's like a test or something that I'm studying for, I will put down water droplet sounds like rain or nature or sometimes even piano music so I can focus better. So it's actually better for you to pick songs or music with no lyrics so you can stay focused. There was a study shown that whether you like the song or not, or you know the lyrics or not, to a song, it still distracts you and it leads to a less effective studying time. And try choosing music that leads you to a positive mood because a positive mood will help you study better. All right. So, like I said first, students who study quietly typically, let me typically studies better. I think there's a research done that students who study in quiet environments perform 60% better in exams than the peers who listen to music that had lyrics. So 60% is quite a large number. And I think you guys should remember that. So students who listen to music with lyrics did not do as well as those who do not listen to music with lyrics. So it's your choice, but here are some tips we are giving you. All right, so here is the phone location for study space. So if your phone is right next to you with your screen up and stand up, your grade will typically be around 81% according to this chart. And if your phone location is next to you, but the screen's down and the sound's off, so it's less distracting, your grades immediately jump up like 2%. Remember, but if it's near you out of sight, it jumps up a bit more. If it's in your room but out of sight and reach, so even less distracting, your grades go up higher. And the highest grade here is if your phone's just in another room. So you don't worry about it, you don't think about it, it doesn't distract you. So that's the correlation between the phone location and grades. So our study space tip we're gonna give you is to move your phone while you're studying. So try to keep it out of sight and set time limits. So typically what I would do sometimes if I really need to study but I don't feel motivated, I will give myself an hour to do work and then like a 5-minute break to be on my phone, or sometimes even longer than 5 minutes. But I set a time limit so I can do work and then I'll do some other stuff to distract myself and so I can stay focused for my next study session and my next hour of studying. So yeah. So now we have a Jamboard or journal activity. So you don't have access to a Jamboard, but in your journal or in your Google Doc, brainstorm at least 3 actions to keep phones away during your study session. All right, I will show you my example. I would sometimes, an example would be to put your phone in a closet or another floor. I would like hide my phone so I don't look for it. And another example here is to give your phone to your sibling or friend to keep until you're done with your work. My roommates and I do this very often. If you really can't study, but we want to study, we will give each other our phone and we will hide it until we're done studying. So yeah, that's something fun you can do too. All right, and now for the second question, write this down in your journal. List 3 things you would do to personalize your study space. All right, I didn't write 3 things, but I wrote a couple stuff. So I have a stress relief squeeze toy next to me. So I have that in my study space when I get really stressed out. And we talked about color at first, but my study space is mostly pink because I feel like that color makes me feel a lot more energetic, bright, and happy, which I feel like usually my mood when I'm studying is really sad and depressed. So that's why I specifically choose this color. And the next question or next thing is to list 3 things you do to create better studying environment and focus more on studying. So what I did here is I usually get a cup of water or beverage. Sometimes I'll go out to go get boba and have it right next to me so I don't distract myself and go out of my room to get water because it typically leads to even more distraction. When I go out to grab water, I meet my roommate. I'm gonna start talking. I'm gonna do other stuff. So it's best if I just don't do that and just stop myself from getting out the room and getting water or whatever and just grab it ahead of time. Another one here is I clean my desk. Just so when I need to study a lot, I would clean my desk and my bed to clear my physical space. So I feel more organized and feel less stressed about my surroundings, which will help me focus more. And write down a couple of things in your journal. Next. Oh yeah, create a digital photo of how your study room will look like. So this is my imaginary study room. So I have half of the room is used for like relaxing and the other half is for studying. So when I'm done studying, when I'm done studying for a set amount of time, I would go relax for another set amount of time and I'll go back here. And I have my boba right here. So I don't go out to get water. And then I put a dog and a cat here because I think it's proven that if you with an animal and you just like cuddle or just play with them for a moment, it will also help you feel more relieved and less stressed. And you can see that my phone is out of sight in this photo, and I have some family photos here to help motivate and inspire me. I also have a globe here also to inspire me because I want to go travel the world and I can't do that if I don't have money. So therefore I need to study. Okay, so that is the story behind my digital photo of how my study room will look like if I had a choice. And that is it for today, for the video today. And remember that you have to fill out activities 3 and 4. You need to submit your applications for activity 1 and 2 by this week. And if you're watching this video because you skipped the session, the assignment's right here. It will be also linked in the YouTube description below. But let me show you how this assignment looked like. Remember to always make a copy of the assignment instead of writing it on here because I only have 1 copy and this is just a template. So yeah, that will be it for today's video and bye.